Mic checker, chicka. It's not son, baby. Yeah, a one time, baby. What? For your mind, baby. Yeah, we gon' shine, baby. And what we do, we gon' grind, baby. Yeah, what? And this is another episode, so a Swingers After Dark. And this is your host, not son, baby. Here we go. You know, I was watching an episode of Real Life Nightmare on HLN. And to make a long episode short, this chick broke up with this dude. You know, he lied about his past, and pretty much he wasn't the dude, not even pretty much, he wasn't the dude that he portrayed himself to be. So, because this chick broke up with him, he stabbed her mother, her grandmother, her daughter, and the daughter's son. So in a ball of rage, this dude killed 4 generations of people and her family and the ex-girlfriend's family just because she broke up with him. Not only he stabbed the whole family, he burned the house down. Then he went on the run for a year until he got caught in a whole different state. And you know, that episode influenced me, or inspired me rather, to record this episode about why dudes kill their wives, their girlfriends, their exes, their significant others, you know, their side pieces, their mistresses. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of dudes, they put women and their relationship on a pedestal higher than them. You know, and that's not to say, you know, men should degrade women, downgrade women, don't see the value in women, but it doesn't make sense for a man to put a woman higher than him to the point where he on some, if I can't have you, then nobody else can have you shit. Like he's on that type of time because he put this woman so high on a pedestal that he can't see himself with another woman. A woman who's either equal to his ex or better than his ex. You feel me? And that's dangerous. That's toxic. A lot of women, they say, you know, worship me, cherish me, worship the ground that I walk on, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, shorty, like, don't put that in the universe. Like, be careful what you ask for, because it's a lot of crazy motherfuckers that are out there. And, you know, your wish may come true. And that wish may be too good to be true, to the point where you dating a fucking psycho and you don't even know it until you trigger him somehow, some way. And then you can't get rid of him. When you break up with him, here come the phone calls, here come the threats, here come the physical abuse. You can't get rid of him. You can't shake him because he put you on a pedestal. You on some, you know, I'm a woman, respect me, hear me roar. I get it. You know, everybody should be respected, especially in a relationship. But you don't want to get it to the point where this dude, he see you as a deity. He sees you as his god. Not a goddess. A god. To him. The mother goddess. To him. Higher than him. Higher than God himself, if you believe in a higher power. You understand me? And it's crazy that stuff like this happen on a regular basis, where dudes, he go ape shit and he kills the girlfriend and the whole family. And that's why I always stress to dudes to know your worth, know your value, because when you have a sense of self, you're not relying on your mate or a relationship to validate you. You feel me? Because you're self-validated. You validate yourself because you know who you are as a man. If this woman leaves you, or you leave her, then you know it's not the end of the world. You know? You know, it's like, all right, shit happens. Whoop-de-damn-do. We broke up. That's life. It's time to move on. But because it's not even about being egotistical. It's not even about being prideful a lot of times. You know, you have a lot of dudes, they have no sense of self, no sense of self-worth. They have low self-esteem. Like, you have a lot of dudes, they beat their chests. You know, like they're gorillas. The killer gorilla McGillas. but they're monkeys. You know, they on some monkey shit who want to go bananas because they got dumped. Listen, if you didn't catch that metaphor, then, you know, stop playing this episode and go to another episode. You feel me? Shout out to that double entendre. But anyway, you get the point. You know, they go ape shit because a chick doesn't want him. He feels rejected. And most likely he probably got mommy issues because his mama probably rejected him. So that rejection from the woman is the reflection of the mother who rejected him, because they see their mother in the women that they date. The woman is the mother. He's fucking his mother and his woman at the same time. He's really a motherfucker. Not only he's a motherfucker, but he's a crazy motherfucker. You feel me? And that's why you have a lot of dudes, they want to be pacified by their women. You know? Because they probably never had a healthy relationship with their mothers. They probably was never nurtured by their mothers. So they see their mother in the women who they date. And because they have the umbilical cord attached to the women who they date, because they see the women who they date as mothers, it's hard to cut that cord. So it's like, because their mother had abandoned them, had neglected them, they don't want their woman to do the same. So they rebel against that abandonment to the point where they say, well, if I can't have you, then nobody else could. Nobody else will. And they fuck around and kill their ex. You know? Because they have unresolved issues that hasn't been resolved from their past, that lingers to the present. And then the next thing you know, they doing football numbers. Now, fuck it, they doing basketball numbers in the prison. 100 years, 200 years. Shit, the death penalty. You know? And that's why I use this podcast as a tool, as a vehicle to not only, you know, give men, men, a sense of self-worth, but also accountability for their actions. Being a man is about having responsibilities, accountability, and having priorities that will better yourself and your situation. So you wouldn't have to suck on the proverbial titty of the woman you date. You getting breastfed because you didn't get breastfed when you were a baby by your mama, because your mama didn't give a fuck about you. So now you on some I want to kill womankind type shit because you had issues in the past that you didn't resolve. And not for nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with seeing a psychiatrist. You know, people think that seeing a psychiatrist, that's not manly. That's not masculine, but shit, anything that could help your mental state, anything that will help your mental state to give you over the hump of your past, to kill your demons, I'm all for it. You should be all for it. You know, anything that will give you some sort of closure. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Anything that will give you closure is priceless. You know, a lot of dudes think that, you know, going to a psychiatrist or going to a therapist, that's admitting defeat. No, it's not admitting defeat, because if you don't address the issue, then it's just going to eat you alive like a cancer. And then you're going to lash out on any and everybody. You know? And it's like, how are you going to love somebody when you don't love yourself? When you don't have a sense of self? You don't even love yourself. So how are you going to love this woman when you don't even love yourself? And the reason why you don't love yourself, because you're not getting some sort of treatment to cure your past. The past may not ever go away, but at least you could cope with the past. At least you could put those demons under lock and key. So when you are triggered, you could manage your triggers, which would not impede on somebody else's freedom or on somebody else's life because you want to lash out on them when they didn't even do shit to you. But because they might have said or done something that triggered you, now you want to hurt them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. But until you get that, under control, you forever going to be your worst enemy. And I'm all for going to therapy, psychology, psychiatrists. I'm all for that. Like, I would never look down on somebody or tease them or see them as a fucking weirdo if they decide to get therapy. I'm all for therapy. Everybody should get therapy. Like, my therapy is writing. That's my therapy. You feel me? Because I've grown to put my personal issues under lock and key. And when I know that I'm unable to manage my triggers at a certain time, I remove myself from a social setting until I'm well enough to reintroduce myself among a group of people. Because toxicity is very contagious. It's very contagious. And you don't want your baggage. You don't want to unload your baggage in front of people who really don't want to clean your dirty laundry. You feel me? Oops, another double entendre. If you didn't get that, don't play this again. Don't play this anymore. Check out another episode. But you get what I'm saying. It's never that crucial to kill a woman because she doesn't want to be like you, or not even like you. She doesn't want to be with you. Or even like you, rather, because a lot of dudes, I said it right the first time, because a lot of dudes are on some controlling shit where they want a woman who thinks like him, eats like him, sleep like him, dress like him, do everything like him because he want to control the situation. So yes, I was right the first time. You feel me? But yeah, fellas, it's time to boss up. It's time to man up, Before I leave out of here, it's about knowing yourself, knowing your worth, and putting yourself on a pedestal. Don't ever put a woman and the relationship on a pedestal that's higher than you to the point where you can't see life without her and without the relationship. Like, you put the true meaning into, I can't breathe without you. I can't live without you. You're my breath of fresh air. Like, a lot of dudes put like the true meaning into those phrases. You feel me? Like, it's not a laughing matter. I'm just tickled. It's not a laughing matter because it's serious, but it's crazy out there in these streets. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you have to vet the person who you allow in your intimate space and your personal life, because people would show their representative, but it's only so long that you could be fake. What doesn't let me say this right. Let me not fuck this up. What doesn't come out in the wash will show in the rinse. And out of darkness comes light. Meaning, it's only so long that people could pretend to the point where they show their true selves. You feel me? But it's up to you to find out if it's worth staying long enough for somebody to show them true selves. Is this person good for you? And is that person good for them? Like, a lot of people say they don't want to be with somebody with a physical disability. Shit, we're at a point where you have to figure out if this person has a mental disability. And if they have a mental disability, can they cope, or can they live effectively with their mental disability? Because everybody's fucked up in some way. Everybody has triggers. But it's how you manage your trigger determines whether you bring a positive influence into a situation or a negative influence into a situation. And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Not Some Baby. Check out my website at www.notsunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. Shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up with any questions or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Dig. And on that note, until next time, peace.